And there is a need that there is a conscious, creative communication about the activities and the intentions behind the decisions which are made by people who are in political powerful situations. We will continue with something which has been started last Sunday in connection with the basic requirements for a peaceful and joyous coexistence on our planet. And I was saying that I will give more specific orientation which can be considered by people in certain areas who are in different ways, directly and indirectly, able to bring something more of understanding and insight into practice. It is basically for everybody, but those who are in certain areas have certain capacity. And this one I want to focus today is on those who have the participation, those who are participating in the lawmaking, in political decisions, who are in power structures where the social decisions are made in different ways. The first thing will be to recognize, to consider what its implications are when they are making decisions. And this is possible for everybody who is sincerely interested to make the best by looking what is coming up in them when they are being with this theme, when you are making rules, when you are making decisions for how to go about certain challenges or problems or difficulties or conflicts. What is coming up in oneself? And this is a very important thing, because when you can see that there are two factors working at the same time in you, one is the obvious and automatic reaction which comes up, and the other is the undercurrent factors which are going on in you. In a way, it is allowing a little deeper connection to that what is going on when you are making the decisions. You can call it, it's not only considering in a logical, rational level and thinking about it, it's more also looking what are the undercurrent factors which are arising when you are dealing with it, because that will also give you the right insight in responding to the whole challenge very healthily, very creatively, very intelligently. It is a bit like what I am doing in some of the seminars by giving the participants certain questions and asking them to put the question to themselves, but don't try to answer it as if you have to answer it to somebody, but look what these questions are provoking in you, what these questions are bringing up in you. It's a little different way of approaching it. It's a certain form of contemplating on the issue, and that will be enabling you to connect to the whole challenge more wakefully and deeply, and that is very, very significant. One of the things is to see that our approach should not go according to the old way of dealing with things, where we are punishing people, and it's more or less in a way to deal with it on a peripheral level. It is suppressive, so it's creating more fear, or through certain revengeful kind of approach to bring some fear that may prevent them from acting in a certain way, but it is not helping the person to understand why is it that what is wrong. It is not easy to bring this understanding. It requires many different factors working together, but it is valuable that the consideration undercurrently is that there is no decisions made out of blind involvement in anger, disappointment, hate, bitterness, revengefulness. And through this consideration, you will be able, in certain way, even when you are bringing punishments, for example, you will not bring punishments to suppress and create more pain and feel powerful. You will look, it is only at the most to contain that the destructive potential from the persons or the groups or whatsoever is there is not exploding, it's not multiplying, it is not continuing. But it will not be against the human beings. It will be from the understanding that human beings can go with a deeper understanding in life or with a peripheral understanding. And that is where the whole difference is, because this is the meaning also when it is said that deep within every human being is good and part of the mystery, part of the wonder what life is. But those who are entangled in unsensible and uncreative and destructive processes has to be confronted, contained, but not only suppressed and punished and hurt. That is not the answer. That is not going to bring about a healthy development. So the rules which are brought should have a quality of sympathy and compassion towards also people who are going wrong, people who are doing things which are often very destructive, very unsensible and creating much pain for everybody connected. But very often it is not seen or understood that way by the people who are trapped in it, and those who are dealing with it has to look at it and seek intelligent, compassionate, creative responses so that it is not becoming only a certain kind of superficial way of controlling it, but it becomes in the long run a possibility for the persons to understand and go beyond their entanglement in these negative approaches. I am aware of the fact that it is not always easy, it is very difficult because sometimes the person is so fixed on certain things, so it is not always possible to bring about such transformatory processes very quickly. But that has to be the orientation, even if it takes longer time. Those who are making the decisions and acting should not act out of hate, not act out of condemnation, not just giving the people guilt feeling which they are not able to deal with it and work with it. They have to be supported to see what is wrong, what is making it unhealthy, what is the destructive factor which is behind it, which is creating a disbalance in the whole way of living together. So that is one aspect which I would like to bring the attention to. And the other thing is, also when you make rules and regulations, there are many factors which are depending on what way you consider it, what way you contemplate it. Then you will also see that a society which is creating more and more rules and regulations are also keeping people in a certain state of fear and greed calculation. So the people may be behaving in a certain way, but they are not behaving from a certain state of clarity and understanding. So the rules and regulations should be there as a orientation, as a help, but it should be applied very consciously, very wakefully, very intelligently, so that people are not falling into extreme robot-like way of going in life, that they are not just acting out of fear, and that people are not living in such tense ways. And that is possible when it is considered and gone about in a balanced way. And there again, the consideration of it in a sympathetic but deep way will be very, very decisive. And the third aspect which is connected with all this area of those who are having the power is, you have the power which you can use to bring more understanding or only to control the behavior of the people superficially. So the rules has to be there, but the rules has to be very carefully applied. And there is a need that there is a conscious, creative communication about the activities and the intentions behind the decisions which are made by people who are in political powerful situations. Because when you can communicate and make the human beings who are having to deal with it understand it a little bit more deeply, and when everybody comes to recognize that it is not against them, it is not to punish anybody, it is not to control, that it is in respect, it is in care, and that many factors are considered. So it becomes possible that what is valuable, that what is intelligent can be understood more deeply, and that is also a process of deepening the consciousness in the society, in the human beings who have to deal with all this. And that is a very important thing. Otherwise it is like somebody is making, maybe even from very careful consideration, certain rules and regulations, but when the people don't connect to it, people don't understand it, people feel that they are being only controlled and punished and all that, then it becomes ineffective. It becomes more like there is a kind of unhealthy reaction and interaction for that. So the use of force and power should be very, very carefully gone about. And everybody who is exercising force and power need to look more deeply in themselves while they are operating, before they are operating. A certain kind of consideration and contemplation about what is the sense behind it all. So we need to create the basic atmosphere of care and compassion, of friendliness and support, so that it is not only just spoken about in a political speeches, but it becomes really also a feelable aspect. Because when the people who are in power are considering and going deeply into themselves, then it will be authentic. And this authentic aspect is the most valuable factor. And that will come through, that will become support for themselves and for the others too. So these are some of the things which I would like that it is getting considered. And there are many factors which in the next period I will bring up again and again. So the next week we have something connected with, or in the coming meetings like this, which may be happening in September again, we will have some more factors connected with people in helping and healing professions, people in other areas where they are taking different responsibilities. So we will go more into the details also there.
The Life Surfing Podcast will be back next week. In the meantime, make sure that you're following us right here on Spotify.